In 2012, the average price of a cinema ticket was £6.37. We looked into what people thought of the price of film and how this affected their cinema attendance. With the rise of digital platforms such as Netflix, we looked to see if this has affected the cinema industry. Is cinema declining to a point of no return, or is this another fluctuation in cinema's life, like the 50s and 70s? To begin our story, we meet up with YouTuber Ollie George to get his view on the subject.
I'm Oliver George. I'm a media production student specialising in film production and digital media. Yes, I do have a YouTube channel, a personal review channel where I review films and context called Ollie's Popcorn. Yeah, it's just something I do on the side, something I enjoy. I think because of the way the internet is like the key to, and social media is where we are at mainly in focus now, I think online media showcasing your creativity by that format is on the increase, and you know it's hard to get your film shown in the cinema, like, especially with a film festival, because you have to go for a series of judges and things like that. When you open it up to the world, then you get the viewing public, your audience, you can narrow it down, you can show it, you can choose people to watch it, you can showcase it, so it's more of a vast outlet you're opening up to the world rather than just those people that are selected at that screening. I think in context with Love Film and Netflix, I think that people are going to love the cinema, going to the cinema. The cinema is treated as more of an experience, a theatrical experience, like it's like a day out thing. It's something, I think it's here to stay for good, because it's become that. It used to be under threat years ago by the release of videotape, and people thought, oh, cinemas are just going to close down, and a lot of them did because of video. But with the rise of Netflix and Love Film, I don't think they're necessarily threatening cinema as much as piracy. With Netflix and Love Film, they're more threatened the sort of context of watching a film on DVD or Blu-ray, so the selling market is being affected rather than the cinema market.
We then went to speak to a film scholar to see what their view on the subject was. Are digital platforms on the rise or not?
My name's Nigel Morris, and I'm Principal Lecturer in Media Theory here at the University of Lincoln in the School of Media. Well, I suspect that the rise of the new platforms is a way of distributing film across more channels. Again, I don't think, even with digital cinema that we have now, which means that the experience, to all intents and purposes, is not that different from a good home cinema. You're just watching it with a bigger audience. You can't take away that social dimension of it. It is special. It is a night out. And as a result of that, I think the film industry will always use cinema as a way of marketing movies, even if the majority of the audience will watch it through a different medium. Now, if you go back to, let's say, the 1920s, the 1930s, people went to the cinema regularly for all kinds of reasons. Their homes were cold and wet and overcrowded, so it was somewhere to go out to a more comfortable, warmer place. But also, there was no television. Radio was very, very limited in the number of channels. And if you wanted to know what was going on, then you went to the cinema. You got the newsreel, and it became a regular part of your weekly activity. Do I feel the price of tickets is off-putting? Certainly in Lincoln. It's not controversial to say that I think the Odeon in Lincoln is one of the most expensive cinemas in the whole country. I don't know why that should be the case, but yes, it is expensive. I mean, if you think about it, a single cinema ticket is the price of 2 or 3 pints of beer and a packet of crisps in a pub, which would be an evening. But you go out to the cinema, and people still expect nowadays that they will perhaps go to the pub afterwards or have a coffee before they go. The cinema wants you to eat all kinds of sugary confections while you're in there, because that's where they make their money. Actually, they don't make their money so much out of the box office ticket sales, but from the confectionery. That's where the profits come from. So yeah, it is pretty expensive. And then if it's a 3D movie and you're whacking a pair of glasses on top, you might be talking about your £11.50, £12 if you're paying the full price, and that's a lot of money. The cinematic release is the big event. the stars turn up to the premiere, the movie comes to your town, it's only there for a limited period of time. There's a lot of buzz around that, and then people who missed that will try and catch up by watching it on a different platform later, or people who really enjoyed it, if they're keen on film, may then very well want to watch it on a different medium later down the line, watch it for a second time. I think without cinema, the film industry would find it a lot more difficult to promote itself. It would just lose that glamour.
We wanted to see what members of the public had to say on the situation and if they have noticed anything within the cinema industry. 66% of people surveyed attended the cinema 2 to 10 times a year. 10% of people surveyed attended more than 16 times a year. %8 of people surveyed thought that tickets were overpriced, with 74% saying their ideal price was £5. 65% of people surveyed said that they believe digital platforms are overtaking cinema. %46% said that their preferences for home viewing or cinema viewing depended entirely on what they were watching. 85% of people surveyed said that if the overall experience, including refreshments, was cheaper, they would go to the cinema more often.
My name is Chloe Osborne and I am a media production student at the University of Lincoln. I try to go to cinema a lot, but it's hard when you've got a lot of work to do and also the fact it's quite expensive. So, what puts me off going to the cinema mainly is the price. I tend to go to Odeon, which is our local cinema, on a Tuesday because you get money off if you're a student and so on. So that kind of attracts me to go, especially when there's offers on and stuff. And obviously 2 for 1 Wednesdays, on Orange. So cinema probably is slightly in decline. But that's, it maybe is just this certain period in time, because it probably will pick back up again. It does that sometimes, I think. I think people get bored of it and then they go back to it because they realise how much they actually like the experience, because it is an experience. It's a night out. It's something that people enjoy doing. So I don't think it will ever completely not exist. But I get the idea that a lot of people would rather pay for a subscription to be able to watch as many films as they want rather than paying, say, the same amount of money to go to the cinema once. So I get that, but I don't think it's taking anything away from the cinema. I think cinema will be something that people will enjoy for the rest of their lives, for as long as they possibly can. Yeah, it might change, it might evolve, but I don't think it'll ever go away completely.
Within this documentary, we feel able to confirm that cinema is not in decline, and that digital platforms are not going to overtake it. Cinema is here to stay, thanks to the romance of cinema, and the experience of watching a film on the big screen.